This week in Journeys Lesson 25, we are going to be reading some stories about people from other countries and also learning a little bit more about our country. We will also be focusing on the ow sound. Let's get started reading our story and see what we can learn. Our target skill for our story this week is understanding characters. Remember that you can learn a lot about what story characters are like from their words and actions. Use what characters say and do as clues. Figure out how they feel and why they act the way they do. You can list the clues or text evidence on a chart like below. This chart is made of 3 categories: words, actions, and feelings. We can use the chart to figure out why characters act the way they do. Our target strategy is summarize. When you summarize, you stop and tell about the important events as you read. Our topic for this week's story is learning about our country. We live in the United States of America. People have come to this country from all over the world. You learn about our country at school. You can read books about our country too. What do you know about our country? You will read about a boy who moves to the United States in our story, The New Friend. Our story, The New Friend, is written by Maria Puncel and illustrated by Ed Martinez. As we talked about, our target skill is understanding characters, telling about the words, actions, and feelings they display in our story. Our genre for our story is realistic fiction. Realistic fiction stories are stories that could happen in real life. As we're reading, be looking for characters who act like real people. Also look for events that could really happen. Our essential question is, what can you learn from someone who is from another country? Be thinking about these things as we're reading through our story, The New Friend. Martin, Lewis, and I lived in the city. Next door was an old house. No one had lived there for a long time. One day, a work crew came with pails and brushes. They started to wash and paint the empty house. Who do you think is the narrator, and why do you think so? In the first sentence, it says, Martin, Lewis, and I. Then it talks about the work crew who came. We can see that all 3 people are wearing a uniform, so they are part of the crew, and these must be our characters. The narrator has to be one of the boys speaking here, but we're not sure which one yet. Why do you think this crew came to this empty house? They had pails, brushes, and started to wash and paint the house. It could be that somebody new is moving into the house. Let's see if we find out. After they were done, the paint had dried, and the house looked pretty and new. The next day, a big truck pulled up. It was full of crates and boxes. A crew unloaded the boxes off the truck. A new family would soon live there. Were you right about your prediction? Did you think a new family was moving in? What do we know about the boys so far? They must be friends since they have been together on both pages on different days. I would say that they are curious. They are watching to see what is happening at the house. Let's see what happens next. Today, Louis went over to the house next door. He met a boy called Makoto. Then we all met Makoto. Makoto was 7 years old, just like us. How do we know which boy is Louis? In the first sentence on page 170, it says, Louis went over to the house next door. We can see Louis in the blue shirt knocking on the door. How do we know that Louis is not the narrator? Whoever is speaking used Louis's name and told us what he did. So Louis cannot be the narrator. Before long, we found out that Makoto played soccer. He could keep running and running. He was good at learning things too. He learned all of our names by the end of the game. So what happened after Louis and the boys went over to Makoto's house? The boys all went to play soccer together. It told us that Makoto played soccer and he was good at learning things too. Soon, Makoto's family was all moved in. We met his mother and father. They were glad that Makoto had made some new friends. Why do you think Makoto's parents are glad that he made new friends? Maybe his parents are happy that he will have someone to play with in the neighborhood. I know we all like having friends. Friends are fun to talk to and be around. While Makoto's mother and father went to buy food, Makoto stayed and played with us. Why do you think the author tells us that Makoto stays with the boys while his parents go shopping? If we look at the picture on the screen, we can see all of the boys are huddled together playing. By Makoto staying with the boys and letting his parents leave, this shows us that the boys are becoming good friends. Let's see what happens next. When Makoto's mother and father rejoined us, Martin, Makoto, and I helped them carry the bags into the house. Makoto said he would show us around his house. Then we went up to look at Makoto's room. Makoto still had a lot of boxes to unpack. He had some nice toys and kites. He said that on the next windy day, we could bring his kites outside and fly them. He said I could fly a kite by myself. Then we went outside to look at Makoto's pictures from Japan. He had them in a green book. On the first page, we saw Makoto's old house in Japan. On the next page, we saw Makoto's family in Japan. The last page had pictures of Makoto's friends. They showed Makoto's 7th birthday party. Makoto says he wishes we could meet his old friends. Do you think it's been a long time or a short time since Makoto left Japan? Let's think. In the picture book, it says that it shows pictures from Makoto's 7th birthday party. When Lewis and the boys first met Makoto, they found out that he was also 7 years old. If he celebrated his birthday in Japan, and he is still 7 years old now, it could not have been that long since he left Japan. At the end of the day, Makoto's mother and father repaid us for helping with cookies. We said please and thank you and ate up. Makoto's father said he had a new job in the city. Makoto would be going to our school. We were all glad about that. Why were the boys given cookies? It says Makoto's mother and father were repaying the boys for helping move. What was the main reason you think the author wrote this story? In this story, we talked a lot about how these young boys met a new boy in their neighborhood and befriended him. A main reason for writing a story like this could be to tell a story about making somebody feel good. Makoto and his family must have felt welcomed by the boys once they moved. What a great story for us to get to read about making a new friend. I really enjoyed our story today, and I'm excited to read it again this week. Now let's move on to our next activity for our reading lesson today. For our next activity, we are going to complete a quick activity in our reader's notebook. Now, since we are almost at the end of our first grade year and you all have gotten so good at these activities, I am going to give you page 138 and 139 to complete. For the first page, page 138, we are working on words with ow. Now remember, this can be shown as OU or OW. Our directions tell us to circle the word that names the picture. There are 6 pictures, and you have to circle the word that best matches it. Let's begin with this page, and then we will move to page 139. For number 1, is this a picture of a cot or a cow? Circle the word that best matches the picture for number 1. For number 2, is this a picture of a couch or a coach? Circle the word that best matches the picture for number 2. For number 3, is this a picture of a moose or a mouse? Circle the word that matches the picture for number 3. For number 4, is this a picture of a crow or a crown? Circle the word that best matches the picture for number 4. For number 5, is this a picture of a plate or a plow? Circle the word that best matches the picture for number 5. And for number 6, is this a cloud or a closed? Circle the word that matches the picture for number 6. If you have completed answering all of your questions for this page 138, let's begin working on page 139. If you need to pause the video to finish up any work on the previous page, go ahead and pause the video now. If you are ready to begin working on page 139, then let's begin. Our directions tell us to draw a line to match each picture to the word that goes with it. On this page, we are working with our sight words, also called our words to know. The words are family, school, party, city, by, myself. What we will do is look at each of these pictures and you will draw a line to match the word to the picture. For example, on number 1, I see a picture of 3 children. They are all carrying what almost looks like a present or a toy. So I'm going to say they are going to a party. So I'm going to draw a line to the word party. What you will do is look at each of the pictures and match them to the word. Once you have completed drawing all 6 lines, you will then use the words 7 and please together in a sentence and write it on the line below. We need to use the words 7 and please in the same sentence and write it below. I will write an example sentence just to show you what it would look like. I need to use the words 7 and please in a sentence. I could say can I please have 7 dogs? Now this is kind of a silly sentence, but I did use the words please and 7. Now it's your turn. After you have completed matching your pictures to your words, to write a sentence below using the words 7 and please. We will check our answers together during our reading intervention time. So please try to have it done before then. And if you have any questions before our group time, please just let me know. Now is a good time to pause the video to work on this activity before we read our decodable. For the last part of our lesson, let's read our decodable, Down on the Farm by Siri Hansen. This week we are talking all about the ow sound, like on our owl card. The ow sound can be shown as OU or OW. For example, in our title, down, the word down makes the ow sound by using OW. As we're reading through our decodable, we are going to be looking and listening for words that have the ow sound in them. Be sure to be following along and reading with me at home. So let's begin reading Down on the Farm. It is spring on this farm. Come and see a farm animal here. Ooh, what kind of animals do you think we will see on this farm? Let's see what we find. Up on a hill is a brown horse with white feet. Her foal is with her. Her foal is growing up now. What do we see in the picture that can help us determine what the word foal means? It says her foal is with her. Her foal is growing up now. In our picture, we see a mother horse and a child horse, or a baby horse. A baby or child horse is called a foal. Out in the grass is a brown and white cow with her brown and white baby. Her baby is growing up now. This cute wood mouse skips along the ground. This mouse likes to sneak into the barn. It likes to get bits of food in the barn. A barn owl sits in this barn. If the mouse sees the barn owl, the mouse will not go in. Barn owls help keep mice out of barns. We have seen a lot of animals so far. We've seen a horse, a cow, a mouse, and now a barn owl. What other animals do you think we'll see? Let's see. Look at this proud mother pig and her family. She sniffs the ground with her snout. Soon her 7 piglets will be as big as their mom. The wool coat on this mother sheep is thick and soft. She is with her lamb. Soon her lamb will have a thick, soft coat too. This hen is with her baby chicks. Her family stays with her for now. It's spring down on the farm. It is time to shout, "Come and see each animal and its family!" That brings us to the end of our reading lesson, and during our intervention time, we will be checking our answers for our reader's notebook. So please make sure to have those completed before you log on for group time. If you have any questions before then, please let me know, and I will see you soon.